Hello and welcome back to Good Knit Kisses. Today is Q&A Monday. I hope you are doing well. And it has been a week. I have been away at spring break with my kiddos and just enjoying relaxing and everything. Today I am trying out some new equipment. So as you join me, please let me know. I'm actually wearing a small microphone today. So if you join me today and you're having trouble hearing me right off, let me know. If you can't hear me at all, because that's not going to be good. Let's see if I've got that on there right. Hey, Chris, good morning. Hey, let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm wearing a microphone right here. You can't see it. And I'm trying out some new equipment. I finally got my new tripod. And I got my a new little holder today. And I got a little microphone that I can plug in like a lapel. So please tell me if you can hear me. Like give me a heart or a like if you don't want to comment. But just like give me something and tell me. So I am, oh, you hear me great. Oh, super. Oh, yay. Okay, I'm so glad. Okay, so here it is, like right here. I'm wearing this. I've never worn one before. Well, I think it is a never. I had bought one a while back. Last year I tried something and it was disastrous and it had like this in the background. So I'm hoping that this works. I figured you guys it would be good to test on. I'm making a tutorial today and it is going to be with I'm going to be filming. I'm going to be doing the Weave Stripes. Now the title is the Weave Stripes Knit Pullover and Hat. I'm going to do the hat. So at a later point, I don't know when that date will be, but I'll attempt the pullover. But we're also working on the pullover that works on this. So at some point I'll do both. Excuse me. I'll show it to you. It's real basic, but it's good. So you get to work it in a kid's hat, but they also have a similar pattern in an adult one. And so it's worked in a flat panel, and then we'll just kind of zip it on up. Well, not zip. We'll sew it on up, and then it'll also have a pom-pom on it. So this is one of these elongated hats, and it has a little pom-pom on it. So anyway, I'm excited. I'm glad to see you all. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to say hello to my loves, all you sweet people out there. I love you. Missed you. It was crazy not talking to you guys over the week. And for some reason it keeps jumping and I can't go back and see your names. You guys are sharing my things. Thank you so much. Facebook, I'm not happy with you. Heather, hi, good morning. I see you went through your mother-in-law yarn. You missed me, Joan. Oh, thank you. Hi, Marie. Hi, Robin. Why is this jumping? Linda, Tracy. Heather, Cece, you guys, I'm so glad you guys are telling me hello. If I missed you, I'm sorry. I'm not able to scroll today with Facebook. Maybe that's a new thing. Maybe I need to say hi faster as you jump on. So I had someone write to me. Oh, thank you, Angie. This is from the new book. And if you guys want to get in on this book giveaway and loom giveaway, be sure and go to my website and check out the Flower Loom blog. Go to the blog area and click in the Flower Loom book blog for the Flower Loom crochet. Dun, da, da, da. I know it's all flip-flopped. Anyway, this hat is in there. You can make this flower on there and then it kind of swirls out from there. It's really cool. So anyway, that's what that's from. But I got a great question on my, well, it was a really big question on one of my Facebook messages. And first of all, I like to answer your questions. I like to answer ones that I can answer, obviously. Sometimes people ask me things that they really can just Google, you know, or ask me questions about other people's patterns or like what loom to use on a pattern that already states it. And so that can be a little frustrating, but I get questions like Taki's, and I'm going to be answering it now. I've got my other phone over here so I can really answer it, but it's kind of a compact question. And I was like, you know what? You're not the only one who's felt that way. So I think I'm going to answer it. And it was like a bunch of questions all at once. Elizabeth, love the pictures of you knitting at the top of the world. Yay! Yeah, I went to Pikes Peak. I'll just kind of chat a little bit about that. Went last minute trip. My family and I we were going to do like a staycation and just stay home. We live in Texas, if you don't know. And we were staying home, and my husband, he once lived in Littleton, Colorado, which is outside Denver. And anyway, he lived there for several years as a kid, and he loves Colorado. We go there like pretty much every year. Last year we went twice, and to 2 different places. We like to kind of travel around. And we're also known for just jumping in the car last minute and just going places. Usually it's like within a few hours. And we just kind of just kept on booking it, and we didn't have anything packed up. And it was it Thursday? Yeah. And it all started that morning because I made breakfast for the kids. I made scrambled eggs, bacon, and my son, he says, he's like, Mommy, when are we going to Colorado again? And he just blink, 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 you know, and smiles at me. And I said, why don't you go ask your dad? So that was all he needed. So go take that smile in there to his office and, you know, ask your dad. And so later on, you know, Dad's like, get dressed, get dressed. And so we all decide, okay, we're going to hop in the car and just drive and just kind of get out of here. And so the kids know that they should grab things. So like if y'all seen that little cloud pillow that I made, and then the Pebble Pop Knit pillow, my girls grabbed those. I've kind of designated those for the different girls. And then he grabbed this little, my son grabbed this polka dot satin pillow that my father had given him, because my father loved this satin pillow, another one, when he was a child. And so anyway, they all have these 3 little small pillows, and they had grabbed like a little toy. And then my daughter didn't grab it. My oldest daughter grabbed like this big thick book. And we didn't know. We hopped in the car. We're like, we'll just drive out to Buc-ee's. And then we drove, and we were on 35W going north. And we just decided to keep going. And he's like, we'll drive out to Munster, Texas, and check out some of the Germantown. And we just flew past there. Well, we stopped at Buc-ee's, and then it was a cookie. And Dad said, the cookies remind me of Colorado. And we're like, yeah, fun. He's like, let's just drive out to Munster. We kept going. We're like, that's the Red River. We're in Oklahoma. And the kids are like, keep going. So anyway, we just drove, and then we actually ended up hanging a left and going back into Texas for a second, and then shooting back up into New Mexico and to Colorado. And then we were just, anyway, and then we stayed last minute Pueblo, Colorado. And then we stayed at Airbnb. I have like the app and everything. And I was talking to the guy at like 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, we're going to get in at like 2 a.m. Is that going to be okay? But I told my husband, I turned to him and I said, you're lucky I have my knitting, because I have something to do with my hands. So anyway, it was spontaneous. The kids will probably remember it forever. So, oh, you guys, thank you for commenting. I'm really having a hard time scrolling back and saying hello. You love my hair. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Oh my gosh, I cannot like jump back and forth today. This is so cruddy. You know, I may have to like, maybe I should jump my iPad up so I can see your comments. Let me just get my iPad on here. I am so happy that we got to go somewhere. That was really nice. Oh, it just happens to be on here. This is a cloud pillow. That's the pillow that she was taking with her, and she loves it. And if you guys want a sweet travel pillow, that cloud pillow is really nice. Yeah, it was so soft, and it was perfect because it's like, it's nice and small. And then the pattern actually makes 3, so I need to make 3 more. Let me see. Let's go to facebook.com. Let's see if I can log in. I'm sorry. Let me log into my my iPad so I can read your comments. Sign in. Oh shoot. Do I have to remember my password? I'm not on the iPad on Facebook very often. What is my password? Oh shoot. Okay. I let the kids use my iPad, and so it I don't know my password offhand because it's like all logged in all the time. Oh, do y'all do that? Shoot. It's being goofball. Session expired. Need to sign in again. Kristen, yay. Let's log on as Kristen. Did I forget? Did I forget my password? Yes, I did. Let's see if that one works. Incorrect. I'm not going to jack with it. Sorry. Okay. So let me just go to my thing. Okay. So dying to take a trip to Colorado. Love the road trips. Aw, thanks for the comments, you guys. I'm sorry that I can't scroll through very well. Okay. So Taki, let's get to Taki's question. I get my other one. It's all ready. It better be. Okay. So Taki says, he said that I could use his name. He says, "Hi, goody kisses. You've given me hope about knitting. My name is, I'm going to say this wrong. Raibersh Taka Agasawara. Just call me Taka, or Taka, not Taki. Taka. I'm from Ireland. I am a youngish man with severe arthritis in hands and joints, and the one thing I really enjoy doing is knitting. I have a small problem. I'm also dyslexic, and I also have ADHD. Well, can all of us, well, many of us identify with some of that. My wife gets annoyed with me because I have not completed anything for such a long time. So because he's having trouble with the remembering and then also with his hands. Let's see. I find the yarn is either too slippery on the needle. I have bought various different types of but I find when I go to do the purl stitch, it always ends up pulling off the yarn off the needle. Metal, wooden, bamboo, plastic. If I do not pull it off, I end up getting twisted. Am I a paranoid knitter, paranoid beginner, or just a confused one? Okay, so that's part of it. He's got like a whole lot more. So first of all, let me just say, Taka, I'm sorry you're having trouble. Yes. And when it's in the beginning, yeah, you're going to have some frustration, and everybody is different. When I first started, I was having trouble with that. I actually ended up switching to looming for a little bit and got used to working with some yarns and things. And then I switched back over to knitting. And so, some of it was just changing up what I was doing for a little bit and kind of learning some things. But then next time I picked up the needles, then I was a little bit armed because I had also done a little more research on the different types of needles. However, you have already started doing that. And that's great. Part of it is, it takes a while to get used to. So what you want to do is, if you're having trouble with things slipping off, use the most grabby needle. Okay, I'm just going to go to the extreme. I would use the most grabby needle, which would be a bamboo. This is a bamboo. Now I have I'm going to show you right here the difference. Be sure it is a bamboo and not a birch or some other. I know you can't even tell the difference between these two. This is bamboo and this is birch, and this is like a completely different, I think it's a rosewood. This is a completely different one as well. They all have different grabbiness. Then pick up some really grabby yarn. You want to get like a natural wool, a natural yarn that's going to be more grabby. It's going to have like, so under a microscope, nylon, even if it's like a fuzzied nylon or acrylic or something that's like looks like this, it's under a microscope, it's going to look really straight. Okay. But when you have a, like imagine when I've got the wool here, wool is actually like these little hairs. It has these little hairs sticking out of it. And so they actually will lock and grab onto the other hairs. And so they tend to grab and hold onto each other a little bit better. Also, because they have different properties inside them, they actually will grab on a little bit more because of all that as well. So that is one thing. The other thing is, which I don't have with me, but people who have had hand problems, and I think someone just mentioned it. I was about to get to that, so I'm glad you mentioned it. There are square needles. Square needles, they aren't around everywhere. You're probably going to have to order them online. They happen to be, I wish I had bought them now. I went and bought a new set of Dreams. These are Knitter's Pride Dreams, but they had at the store, the local yarn shop I went to when we were visiting Colorado Springs, they had a, they call them cubits. Somebody write the name. But anyway, they're like a squared needle, and they are for people who have problems with their hands. And so I would check that out, and I think they are wood. I'm not sure if they're bamboo, but I think they are wood. And so if you want to, first of all, grab your bamboo needles, then grab some wool yarns and maybe some big bulky yarn. And even if it's inappropriate for the size, that way you can kind of mess with it. And I'm going to show you purling. But if you'll grab those and then try it and see how it works. If you're still having trouble, I would say cast on 20 stitches, make like a 4x4 swatch, okay? And then that way you're practicing it over and over and over again, like in one sitting. Like carve out some time where you can sit. If you need to like put your knitting down, I want you to do some hand exercises, okay? Like come and stretch out your hands, okay? You know, kind of rub on your hands, do your hand exercises, ones the doctors are giving you. You can take like a tennis ball and you know, pull on it. Stretch your hand out. There's all kinds of different things you can do. But if you will, if you'll do that and sit down and try and work on a piece all at one time, the repetition is really going to help. If you find that you're still having that trouble, you might go and check online and just get like one, unless you find a deal and you just get a whole set. But the squared ones are probably going to help you the most. Chris, you're saying you lost me. Can you guys still hear me? Man, I wish I turned my fan on. I'm really hot in here. Good morning, everyone. I'm seeing you jump on. We all did. We all lost you? Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. All the comments are really, really jumping. It's hard for me to read them. Jamie says maybe Taka should try the 4 square needles. Shoot. Sold at... I'm sorry, knit picks. They're supposed to be good for less slipperiness. Yes, but they're also supposed to be good for people who have arthritis. So anyway, as far as the ADHD, the videos can really help that. If you will, I'll tell you what, if you will write down, like say you're watching a video and like just sit there and watch it the first time, okay? I would recommend any video, especially like a knit along or loom along or crochet along, watch the video. Like don't even pick up yarn. Just watch it, okay? Listen for clues, like act like you're in class. Like really take it like a class and be like, I'm in class today. Put your little earbuds in so that you can focus, because focusing is big, right? I think as an adult, I probably should be tested for ADHD. Maybe that's how my daughter has ADHD and I never knew it. I probably figured out these coping mechanisms before and I never knew it. But I have to really like kind of focus in, and so maybe put some earbuds on and listen from like a mobile, and then write down notes. And if you like something, like pause it and note what the timestamp is, and then write that timestamp and what is being talked about at that moment, and then you can go back and play it. And I will say this to anybody who's listening who finds this helpful or who wants to help with that. If you happen to find a video of mine and you're like, this particular timestamp is really, really good for this thing, or if you want to break down any of my videos, if you happen to have notes and you type out those notes, I will put those in my description for you. Here's a really cool thing. So if you don't know, I have a few, not every video, but there's a couple of videos where they're longer and I have put timestamps in there. If you're on a desktop or laptop, you can open up the description, see all the listing of what elements are in there, and you can click on that timestamp and it jumps in the video to that timestamp. Isn't that cool? Like YouTube thought of everything, right? So the perfect example is go to, especially if you want a learning video. Now these are looming. This is loom knitting, not needles, but it's the same premise. Go to the Chic, that's CHIC, Retreat cowl. Okay, look that up on my channel. Chic Retreat cowl. I made that and it has all the little timestamps. It's a really good learning video, and you can see when you open the description, it shows you all the different things you can do when you click on it. I also have a knitting lesson, and look for knitting lesson because I have one where I'm showing working with the yarn, working with a big needle, And I have that, it's like a one big lesson that I taught on Facebook Live, but I also uploaded it to my YouTube channel. And if you'll do that, that would work. Also, on that one, I believe I did break that down into lessons. So that has that there. If you will just go and look at that one lesson, you could even do one lesson within that big video over and over again, and that will help. When you kind of get that that part down, it'll be much easier. Kind of think of things in bite-sized chunks. Like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It's the same thing as anything else. You got to do one thing at a time. Pick one thing. So you're like, I have a hard time casting on. You know, okay, do the cast on. Go look at my video on, I have a whole series on how to knit, and then there's a cast on video series, and I actually do a knitted cast on. And the reason why I like it is because if you're then about to learn how to do the knit stitch, you pretty much already know how to do the knit stitch because it teaches you within that. Now, there are gads of other cast on videos, yeah? And there's gads of other cast ons, obviously. But that particular one, the reason why I do that is because it reinforces that knit stitch, okay? Not all people teach that the first time. I found that the top 3 that people learn is the long tail, which is also called a slingshot, the backwards loop or thumb cast on, that's pretty traditional, and then the knitted cast on is less traditional. It's the one I like to teach, and I'm telling you that people have had success with that. Once you get that down, practice the knit stitch. Don't even try to purl. So until you can get the knit stitch down, like you want to take the next step. I know you want to take the next step. Don't do it. Because once you kind of learn how to control your yarn and the knit stitch, and you just keep going and going and going, make like a whole scarf, man. Like, do a whole scarf, and then learn the bind off and get that done. It's really tempting to want to learn to do all those things, and you can do it, and you will do it, but give yourself grace. I don't even want to say give yourself patience. Give yourself grace. Give yourself mercy. Those things are great to give yourself. You know, we give those to other people, but do we give that to ourselves, right? So I think that that would be the best mode for you to talk. So I can also show you some other yarn. I want to talk a little bit about this. If you end up wanting to go faster, or you can also try, sometimes I find that plastic slows you down too. It doesn't slow me down as much as the bamboo does, but the plastic can slow me down. Once you want to kind of get slowly getting back up there, then you'll eventually get to, so you want to then go up to like a birch or other needle, then you can go to say like a metal needle. Now there's different metal needles. Here's kind of a traditional one from Boy. This is a Chalgu metal needle here. And then I have these carbons. These are Knitter's Pride. And they just have a metal tip, but then the carbon part here is different. So they have a different slippiness than, say, this one. This is an Addy Turbo, and this is all metal. And also there's different points too. Like these really rounded points, you might find that it's not as good because it's not sharp enough, or you might find that this needle is too sharp, like the point. So it really depends. And if you if you do a short needle like this, where this part, this is the gauge, this barrel size of it, if that's too short, you're going to have a problem because it doesn't have as much where to hold, because you're having to go from this cord up and then you got to go down again. And so getting something that's nice and long, I like starting with these big, long, straight needles. But if you're having a hard time holding them, then having circular needles, whether they're fixed or whether they're interchangeable, like these are interchangeable. I can take this off and I can put on, see this right here, see these? They come off the cord, and then I can get a longer cord, but basically it holds on to it. Anyway, I'm kind of all over the place. Let's see. Something happened for the live feed and you can't catch the rest of the replay. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Well, hopefully you can come back. Chris says, I'm telling you purling and needles so much easier if you learn continental. Chris, I understand what you're saying. It depends on the person. It really does. I have hand trouble when I purl currently in continental. So the way I usually teach is throwing. Okay, it's English style. It's like I'm taking the yarn and I'm yarning over. I can continental knit all day and it is really fast. When I go to purling, I have a problem with my carpal tunnel. I actually have an issue with it. Actually, after a while, can cause pain. So I'm in a learning mode too. I think everybody, when they're in a learning mode, you may be doing some things that cause pain, and you might get better, or you might need another teacher, or you might need to just take a break and do something else and come back to it. So everybody learns different. But anyway. Amber says, Chris, I disagree. I can't purl when I pick. I can purl when I throw. Yeah, absolutely, Amber. I agree with you. That is my current situation. But like I said, everybody learns at different levels. Everybody has a different issue with their hand or non-issue. So anyway, like I said, give yourself grace and mercy. And what works for one person may work for you. It may not work for you. Maybe something that works for another person with a little bit of a tweak works for you too. So I would encourage you not to get exasperated in that moment and say, oh, it's just not working for me and I haven't found. You know what? It's just, the thing is once you learn how to do it, you're going to be able to help somebody else who had a lot of trouble too. So anyway, I'll tell you what, it was really funny. When I was learning how to knit and I wanted to learn how to purl, I did not like how anybody taught me. It really frustrated me. And it's so much so, I taught myself how to knit backwards by working left-handed. So I'm working on my dominant hand is my right. Sorry, the image is flipped, but I end up moving it over to my left and working the opposite way. Or actually, once I did that, I just knit it backwards, but I wasn't unknitting. I was actually purling from the wrong side. So I was knitting like I was left-handed. So the opposite side actually ended up getting purled because I couldn't figure it out. Isn't that the weirdest thing? So, and then once I actually was able to purl, because I wanted the what's it called? I wanted the satisfaction of seeing what a stockinette looked like that I made. And so I did that to get the satisfaction. And once I learned how to do that, I'm like, okay, cool. I can study the stitches and I can really see, because, they were trying to teach me about the stitches and what they look like, but I wasn't getting that. And so I don't know how I did it, honestly. So anyway, it just depends. Okay, Chris says, you have horrible hand pain. It depends on how you hold your yarn. And when you're doing continental, easy peasy. If you have trouble, you're just not doing it the easy way. It just depends on how you hold your yarn. It also depends on your hand size and what is comfortable for you. Your pain spot may be in a different pain spot than another person. So it's just different. And we all have different hands. Some people have no hands. Some people have less digits than other people. Like they don't have enough fingers. So, I mean, I'm saying, Chris, I understand, but it truly is different for everyone. So one size doesn't fit all. You know what the really cool part is? We can all make the same thing and it looks the same. Like you can do it your way, you can do it your way, and it all looks the same. Now, maybe the tension is a little different. But, oh, that's so funny. And Lori just said tension. I see that came up. My issue was tension. Yeah, Lori, one part of that is just doing the same thing over and over. Excuse me, man, my bangs are creeping in my eyes. The tension is something that you just kind of have to keep working at. It also is something that sometimes we just naturally are always going to be tight knitters, or loose knitters. I tend to be tight, and if I'm stressed, I have to like remember before I start knitting to like kind of take a breath and be like, or the first several rows are tight and then the rest of them are easy. So I have to like really just take a moment and do that. Let me get back to the rest of his question because he had some more questions. Let's see. Then he says, okay, am I a paranoid knitter or just a confused one? You're not paranoid, you're normal. The other thing I forget is which stitch comes next. I can do the knit stitch and I can do the purl, but I find my purl stitch becomes messy. There are so many questions in here. The yarn I can afford is normally thin yarn, finger or 4-ply. Is there anything I can get that keeps my yarn together when I'm traveling around London, UK? I find my yarn gets caught in this and that in my bag, and when it ends up like an old wig. I say my wife loves, he keeps going, my wife loves making hats. My wife comes in from Japan. Well, anyhow, I love your videos on YouTube. I watch them often. Actually, your voice helps me relax when I want to throw my yarn out the window. Well, I'm so glad that my voice helps you relax. So you can always play me in the background. But, okay, so as far as, okay, the yarn that you can afford is normally thin or finger or 4-ply. Okay, so that's great. Use what you can afford. Use the needles you can afford. If you want to bulk it up, I have a video on how to pull 3 strands from one on my YouTube channel, and so you can get a bulkier yarn that way. Or you could grab 3 balls of yarn and pull 3 at the same time. Now, a way to keep them together is one of the things I've done, and it depends on your country and what's available to you. I use, okay, I have something that's made for this. It's called a yarn bra. I actually don't like to use them very often because they end up getting snagged in something else. But it looks like a mesh, and it's like this mesh tube thing that you slide your yarn into, and as your ball gets smaller, it compresses it, and so that holds it really well. But I would say take that and put that in another smaller bag. What I like to use is a large gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and then I poke a hole through, and so I put my yarn in there, and you could even put 2 balls in there if you needed to, maybe 3, and then poke 1 hole through it, and then pull it through, and then start your project. And then that bag, and it can remain zipped, and that bag can go into your knitting bag or whatever, and then it's not a mess. So, especially if you're pulling 3 strands from one, that works really well. Now, when you're changing color, that's a different thing. You might need to put them in separate bags. If it's a small ball, you could put it in like a sandwich baggie or something. You can also put it in a knit bag. I don't have any bags with me. Anyway, they make different knit bags. You can get one that has like a drawstring on it. You could even, if you like to sew, you can make one yourself, basically just making like a tube, and then it has a drawstring on one end, and then you put that in there and then cinch it up and let it go up that hole. Some of them actually have like a little hole cut on the side, or a little arm flap thing. There's all kinds of them. So look for the sewn bags. You could also check out on Etsy and see if there's a local Etsy person in your area. Do like an Etsy local search and see if there's someone in Ireland, or you can pick it up in UK. I would shop when you're in the UK, go to a local yarn shop in the UK and check out the different bags they have. They may have a local person who makes and sews bags and sells them to the yarn shop. Our yarn shop around us carries bags from, I think, 3 or 4 local artists, and then someone who's national that they get it off of Etsy. So that's kind of some of the things they do. Let's see. Amber says, put your yarn in a Ziploc bag so it doesn't get tangled. She said the same thing. My knit it tight, so my purl is loosey-goosey. Oh, Lori says, okay, so you're uneven in your stitches. When you're in the purl, then if that's the case, then when you're finished purling, you want to kind of tug and pull on it a little bit more before you move on. And once you do that, you'll get in the habit of it. If you'll work on several purl rows in a row and kind of pull on those, you'll be able to tell, you'll be able to keep practicing that well. I wouldn't flip back and forth between a knit and the purl within the same row until you've gotten better at it. Just so you don't have to introduce the backwards and the forwards of the yarn and just continue with the consistency. Chris says, I knit and crochet for years and never put my yarn in Ziplocs or bags inside my project bags until I started watching you. Easy but brilliant idea. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I've actually taken multiple bags, Ziploc bags, and then put them in like one of those plastic shopping bags, or like the sewn ones. I mean, in our, it may not work for people in California. I think those are like outlawed, but I have a ton of those and I reuse them. I don't like to throw them away. And so I put my other little bags in that and then tie that up, and that's my project bag. And I maybe put my knitting there, and then I'll put that in my bag because we always have more than one project going on, right? And so like I like to have a bag like this. This doesn't have a project in it, but I have multiple bags like this. This is called a, well, I got this from Pink Impact. It's a Rumi bag, R-U-M-E, and it's really thin, and it's great for, you know, people who can't have something really heavy to carry. And it even has this little Velcro thing. And so it folds up and it rolls up and then it goes into this little thing. And so you can keep multiple of these around, but it's really lightweight and it's very roomy. Okay. And then I put multiple projects in there. So you can have like a pair of socks and a hat and a scarf going, and they all fit in the same bag. So, and that bag is just a one big bag. It doesn't even have multiple pockets, which you can do multiple pockets or different divisions. So, Chris, I'm glad that helped you. Lori, when I do my graph gans, I put all my little balls of yarn in plastic baggies to keep them from tangling. Yeah. So like the little sandwich bag, like one like this. And also when you're using these, use a permanent marker and write on that bag, write what the project is. You know, you can, if you wanted to, you could keep tally marks, and keep a permanent marker in there with you. If you wear one of those cutters, those little, I don't even have one, but some of them have like these little round things that hold from a necklace with a little cutter on it. You could even get those Sharpie markers that have like the fob on it, and then they just pop off, and so it's like, hey, dangling from that. And then people have like little scissors. I mean, if you were like traveling and you just, you know, like on your bus or commuting or something, and you could write or do a little tick mark on it. Or you could do, use your, what do they call that? Like an expo marker, those, the ones that wipe off. If you have your, in your bag, like say you have your, pattern in a sleeve, you know, Visiview marker. What are those called? Anyway. Yeah, Callie, law sucks. No plastic bags for projects anymore. Yeah. How do I know that law? I guess I've just read enough to know that. I don't even live in California. I haven't been to California in probably 20 years. No, it hasn't been 20 years. Maybe 10. So, but yeah, I think Boy has the yarn bra. Tell me if you guys, if it's marketed as the bra, if anybody knows what I'm talking about. They're these little plastic mesh things. I think they come like 3 in a pack, and there's like a red and like an orange and maybe a blue or something, maybe a yellow. I know I bought them. I can never find them when I want to show people. So, let's see, I'm trying to scroll through. Darn it. Boy, Facebook is all crazy. Okay, let me see what else he had to ask. That was it. And then I told him that was, that I would answer his questions. What else did he say? He says, all right, he's being sweet and complimenting me. I am amazed that I have not given up on knitting despite my poor performance. I know with expert advice I can win. No rush though. Any advice on needles, yarn sizes, etc., and terminology needed to consult on conversion. Okay, so anyway, okay, I'm online talking now. Okay, I totally forgot to send this to him, so I just told him I'm online talking, which he's going to be late if he didn't come on already. But anyway, yeah. So he's giving himself some grace, and he knows that he's working on it. So but I'm really glad that he asked about it. If you guys have any advice for Taka, Taka, let him know. Like, write it in the comments below. I'm sure he will be reading this. I wish I could just tag him, but I can't. So, but I'm sure that other people go through the same thing. And if you've had trouble in the past, hit that love button. Let me know. Let me know if this was helpful or you think it might help somebody else. If I gave bad information, I'm sorry. I'm giving information that would work for myself. So, let's see. Robin said, I didn't know about Boy. There's a person on Etsy that sells a yarn tube. Like you're describing, it might be a yarn junkie. Might be yarn junkie. I guess that's the name. Look at all those hearts. Look at all those hearts. And she doesn't remember for sure. Hopefully a search on yarn holds will bring it up. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, look at all those hearts coming through. There's so many other people who can totally identify you with Taka. And who's had trouble? Now give me hearts. Who's had trouble with their tension? Give me hearts. Give me hearts. Yeah. And do you have to, if you're a tight, if you're a, let me just say loose. Who was a loose knitter who just had to work on it a little longer? Give me a like if you were a loose knitter and it gets better, right? And I'll tell you, being a loose knitter is not a bad thing. It's just getting used to getting into pulling it tight. I wish that I was a looser knitter. Are there any loose knitters out there? Look at those. We've got some. Yay! Oh, that's so good. So anyway, I'm so glad this is helpful. Yay! Oh my gosh, how are we on time? Oh, we have some more time. Yay! You are, Bridget? Oh man, if you want to come back to it later and tell him, like, if you have any like words of wisdom and advice that have helped you, would you mind kind of just typing out a little bit of what helped you? Could you do that for us? That would be amazing. Amber too? Oh, okay. And you're a tight knitter when you pick. When she means a continental, right? So she's a loose knitter when she throws, when she's English style, and then when she picks, which is the continental, when you're holding it towards the back, that's where she is. She's tight. Yeah. So let's see. Let's see if I could probably knit some and show y'all how I do my my knitting, and I can work on continental a little bit. Let's see, what am I on? Oh, I am on my purl row, if you want me to. I'm working on something. So you're an uneven knitter, Cassid? Tammy says, I was giving some of those plastic yarn holders, but you haven't used them much. Tammy, let me ask you, do you have a reason why you're not using them much? Is it more like you just don't remember to use them, which is my case, or they didn't work for you, that kind of thing? Bridget says, sorry, I'm loose at crochet, haven't learned knitting yet. Sorry, guys. Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. Loose at crochet. That's good. Yeah, sometimes, depending upon what I'm working on, I might be way too loose or way too tight on crochet. I am not as proficient in crochet. I like to show what I know. Yeah. You can only teach what you know, right? Oh, I've got like something in my glasses. I'm sorry, y'all. You see me, my naked face. Oh my gosh. Let's see, what else was I going to show y'all today? Oh my gosh, do you want to see, dude? Okay, I have Angora. Do you want to see an Angora yarn? I got so excited. I walked into the Woolly, what is it? The Woollyworth yarn store in downtown Colorado Springs. And I asked her, I said, what do you have locally? Who do you have locally that I can see their stuff? And you know, like any who spins or dyes or anything locally. And so she's like, oh, they're all over here. And so I went straight over there. That's what you should do. Like if you go to a local yarn shop that you're not familiar with, it's really neat to go and see what the local artists are doing in the area. There was a ton of rabbit. So there was Angora. And this is the Angora. And the name of the rabbit was Oreo. And doesn't that look like an Oreo? Isn't that fun? So cool. So it's undyed. and she spun it, and it reminds me, I used to have a rabbit jacket when I was a kid, and mine was gray, and my sister's was brown, and I loved it as a kid. And then I realized later, I'm like, they had to kill all those rabbits. I didn't realize. But this is just, you know, they get it from brushing and stuff. So I got an angry face. Someone hit the angry face. Was that an accident? Yeah, isn't Oreo pretty? I would like to pick up Oreo and stroke Oreo and be like, hello, you're a sweet bunny. Yes, you are. It is so funny because I picked up, I got into a new buy-sell trade group on Facebook that's local to here, and a little girl is selling her Angora bunny. It's like 9 months old. It looks like a dead cat, Elizabeth. Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, it's Angora. So I'm thinking like a cowl would be nice. I only got one. So I gotta wind this up. Elizabeth. That was an accident. Oh, that was Chris. Hit the love button. No angry faces. Looks good to snuggle. Yeah, they had some mitts that someone had made out of them, and they were like hanging on the wall, and they were like super fuzzy. I'm like, oh my gosh. I think a muff would be good. Like you could do a muff and that. That reminds me, I had a muff as a kid, and it hung from this chain, and so I would wear that like when we went to church. That was my fancy thing, and it had like a little zipper or something inside, and I would put like some Kleenex, you know, some tissue, and my lip gloss. I'll go way back. What else did I get? Oh, I got this really cool thing. So they had this. I'm showing you all my shopping stuff. This is called the Circular Solution, and she had other things. I couldn't afford to buy so much more because I bought a whole set of interchangeable needles, which was like $89. And this was like 24 or 26. And so you slip your circulars into here. So like say, so this is a 15. So I go and find the 15 and I just pop it in here and kind of just keep going. Comes out the other side. And then this one that I need to put back in is, I think this is a 13. No. Oh, this is a 15. Okay, so this is a 15 as well. Apparently I have several 15s. And you just pop it in here and put it in. Anyway, so you can tell I have a whole bunch of, these are my fixed circulars, and I have a bunch in the bigger size, and then I have a few of the, like this is a 7 up here. This is in an olive wood, so that's another one. I'm messing with my, oh gosh, I'm messing with my cord here. Anyway, so all my fixed ones, those are my fixed ones, and then all my straights are in here. And then I took my circulars and I combined them. Shoot, I'm dropping things. Hold on. Okay, so my my interchangeables for, this is my Addy carbons. So they go in here. This is not how I would normally store it, but like it, I can put it in this little zipper pouch. And then I had ones, they're the clover version. They're called Takamui. And so they were in here, in this little set here, okay? But I took them all out, and I used this for my DPNs. So I've got to buy a holder for my DPNs. Unless you know a really good one on Etsy that I should be directed to. So for now, I've got them in here, and then I combined my new dreams that I got. I've now made all my Takamui or whatever in here. So see, I put all those interchangeables in here, and then that goes in my bag, and then so does my other Addies. I mean, not my Addies, my Knitter's Pride. And then I can just zip it up. So that's what I did. So I finally got myself, some of my stuff organized. So yay. So you love my beret? Oh, thank you. That's from my flower loom crochet book. Deborah says, I keep my Takamui, quit, why did it jump like that? Circulars in a package they came in. Oh my gosh, these comments are jumping. Then all the loose, stop. Then all those I keep in a zip bag. Oh my gosh. Facebook keeps doing this with my comments and I can't even read it. It's like no new comment was coming in. So, like, stop. Ooh, now that I'm not in Taka's thing, I can look at this live broadcast. Let me just look at the broadcast now, shall we? It's a weird thing to go find yourself to see yourself live. Yep. Bridget says, I really want the light up crochet needles. Anybody use those? Yeah, I think I have a hook that I inherited from somebody, but the plastic on there kind of scares me. It makes me think that it's going to break. Like, it just doesn't look sturdy for me. I'm hard on my tools. Is anybody else hard on their tools? If you're a tight knitter, you're hard on your tools. Bridget, if you're a loose knitter, you're probably just fine. Lori says, I was looking at the new Addy. They have a set and it's a longer needle for larger hands. Ooh, that's good to know. Elizabeth says, I have some of those light up needles. The yarn is squeaky on it. Yeah, so I don't think it would glide as well. And then I would like kind of crunch on it. And yeah, like, I don't know. And it's using plastic, like I was showing you that plastic needle. It just doesn't glide as easy. And depending on once you get used to it, like when I first started knitting, let me just say, I did not do well with needles like this. I was like Taka and things were sliding off and it was too fast and I needed more grip. And so I went to bamboo and I was so glad that I did. And because I went with a long straight needle, it kept them all on there very consistent and I could work on that. So, it kept all my needles on there. It wasn't going off onto a cable for the circular needle. And so all the loops were stayed consistent and waited on me the next time. And so it was easy to kind of work on my tension and get used to it. But that was bamboo and it's nice and strong. So, Takumi. Deborah, am I just saying it wrong? It doesn't matter, does it? Lori says, I bag my eyes. It's like looking at a Christmas tree light. Yeah, I guess so. You know, the comment was made to me that they really like using it when you're working with dark yarn. So if you need to work with a black yarn and crocheting, it's probably not a bad idea. Yeah. If you're color changing and then you color change to one, I mean, I guess you could pick that hook up. I mean, you know. So yeah, Chris says, I've broken a plastic crochet hook. I prefer my metal, Susan Bates. Yeah, I've broken a plastic crochet hook. That one seems like it's sturdier than the regular plastic ones, but I've had a plastic one that was, I'm trying to remember what size it was. I think it was like a 3 or 4 millimeter. And so it's pretty thin, and I tried to crochet with that thing, and it just, I mean, like, I would think I was 3 or 4 stitches in. And I was like, yeah, this is not okay. This is trash. So, and I won't say what company it was, but I was like, I wouldn't recommend this to someone. I got it for free. And, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be recommending that. And I had extra. So I was like, no, thank you. So I gave some away and I said, if you are not a tight knitter and not tight crocheter, you can have this, but be warned, it might break on you. Here's a couple. So, yeah. Peggy says I used a book light to attach to my shirt when using dark yarn. They can, then I can use any hook I want. Ooh, a book light attached to your shirt. Who would have thought of that? Peggy, good one. I like that, Peggy. Now, my friend, Carol, who's also an admin on here, I haven't seen Carol hop on yet. Carol, she puts like this little headlight thing on, or no, she has glasses that have a light on them. And so when her husband is watching TV or whatever, she can look down and see. And I'm like, those are amazing. They look hysterical. And then some people like put the little miner's hat thing where like it has a little light here. Yeah, but I like the book light idea. That's really cool. So this is really good. This is like having our little knitting circle, and we can just like tell our little secrets and ideas, right? Bridget, thanks ladies. I think you're right. Maybe you're just, yeah, looking at something new makes you want it. You know, don't get the whole set. Check it out, Bridget. You might like it. I mean, there are people who like them and love them and have them like, and they use them all the time. It might be just for a special occasion. I mean, or like just when you're working on something with friends while you watch a movie and you're like, I have to stay awake, so I'm going to work on this. So get one, like get your favorite size. You seem to use like the majority of the time. Like, come on, we have sizes that we use a lot, right? So like mine's like an L hook. I tend to use an L hook a lot. So if I was to test it, I would get an L hook. Yeah. And speaking of which, last night I'm knitting away. I'm working on this thing and I'm like, okay, I've got to rest. I'm feeling a little tired. I think I just need like a moment, a break for my hands. And, I just need a break, and then I'm gonna come back to my knitting. Fell right asleep. I wake up, it's almost midnight. I'm sitting in my chair. It's a recliner, so my feet were up, so I was happy. But I woke up and it's like hours later. I'm like, yeah, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to keep knitting. I only have this much done and I meant to be a lot further along. Oops. So yeah, who else does that? If I stop moving my hands, I fall asleep. Yeah, I am over 40. I will stay up till like 12 or 2 a.m. working on stuff, but like if I stop working on stuff and I'm just watching something, I'm out. Yeah. Give me some love. Y'all hit the love button if that happens to you too. I know it does. It has to. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Oh man, the little LOLs. Everybody. Cassid, Bridget. Yeah. Same here. And then you wake up and keep going, Lori. That's so good. Yeah. It's so good. Well, you guys, it's getting up on the 10 o'clock hour here. I've been on here an hour for the Q&A. I'm so glad you guys joined me. Wednesday, I'm going to be working on whatever I'm working on. I'll show you. I'll do a little demo on what I'm working on. And I'm about to finish up and work on this tutorial. Be sure and check out the latest video that's up with the sweater stuff on the YouTube channel. I come up with a video every Friday on YouTube, and I'll be on Facebook Live on Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You have to Google what time that is for your time zone. That is 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8 a.m. Mountain Time, and Pacific is 7 a.m. So you guys are joining me on the West Coast, our awesome troopers. So anyway, it's great to have you guys, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Happy knitting and crochet. Bye-bye, everyone.